And I mean, I say that, but it's not a drastic move. We may fund one less RRTC in medical rehab and put it perhaps in employment or transition, which are two areas that are administration emphasis areas this year. Also increasing our community living portfolio, and then also new field initiated opportunities. This is again going back to us trying to be more proactive and listening to what's coming out in the field as opposed to dedicating our funds to agency-driven priorities. In terms of getting more information, please feel free to visit our NIDRR, that's the National Rehab Information Center. That's got, many of you have probably looked at it already, but it's just a wonderful resource. 80,000 plus publications and resources on disability and rehabilitation. It's our repository for the work that we've done. And NIDRR.com is the web address for that one. And Enable Data is another kind of partner site that we have information on technology products, and so they kind of go hand in hand. One is the projects and information on the research, and then the development work that comes out, the findings on the development work that are in the Able Data web space. We also have a monthly, I don't want to call it a newsletter, but actually it's a bi-monthly informational note that comes out. It's called News and Notes from NIDRR, and it's generated through the NIDRR Center. But that's a place where you can get a sign-on through your email and get updates all the time on what's being published, and what priorities are out, and the extent to which we have any new and updated information on things. It comes out through that mechanism. So I would encourage you to visit. When you go to the NIDRR site, you can find the sign-up for that. I guess an e-bulletins, what we call it. So in closing, what I want to say is, I mentioned on the top that we have a new director, but we also have the same commitment and capacity, to our capacity building efforts. And we want to focus on diversity and inclusion. We want to make sure that the innovation and the improvements are driven by what the needs are in the field and to our consumers. And then we again focus on mentoring and collaboration. I just can't say enough. It's very similar to the kind of conversations that I was having with the small businesses that we meet and talk with them about. But it's you've got to have strength in numbers and be able to leverage the few dollars and resources that you have, and that's just we really see that as a mechanism by doing that. And I think the work that Langston is doing is really just a signal that that's some value to us. We are continuing to take a multi-pronged approach to addressing our interests around capacity building and infrastructure building. I think it was really valuable for me to sit here today, and I apologize for not being here yesterday, but I really, Shelly and I will have an opportunity to go back and talk about, how we can move forward. The information, the recommendations, the strategies that have come forward, I think will be valuable to Dr. Moore and his group, but also to us to hear this and to really infuse it at the senior-most levels of the department. There are lots of entities around the department that are doing work in capacity building and all kinds of model demonstration projects and infrastructure development, that kind of thing. And I think a part of our issue is that it's so compartmentalized that we don't really get to benefit from the promising information that comes out of that work. And I think part of my initiatives will be around trying to consolidate and coalesce a lot of that work so that we can really learn from each other and use the work, use the new knowledge to really benefit the field. So that will, I guess I say stay tuned. We'll be working from the inside as you guys work. We have, Shelly will talk to you about the dedicated funding streams in terms of the Section 21 program, but really also encouraging you to continue as you build your capacity to be competitive regardless of whether it's a quote-unquote set-aside type opportunity. And then, I just mentioned before, is about the peer review. We want to make sure that people, if you have an interest, it's not as huge a burden, it's not a huge travel burden like it used to be. A lot of this is, is virtual for the most part. There are also expert panels that we convene from time to time, and those are great opportunities for those of you who have expertise in the field of disability and rehabilitation to really be a part of the work and shaping the work that we do. We run focus groups and again, the advisory council, which will be routinely turning over. So we just hope that the information that I provided today is going to be helpful to you. And I know it doesn't get down into the weeds, but I'm here to provide some basic overview. And then I have, we brought with us as well, we recently put out a, what are we calling it, a newsletter, annual highlights report for our 2013 year. And so we'll make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get one of those. And it's also will be at our ed.gov website if you haven't had a chance to look at it. But it gives you some basic information about the research that we fund and some of the outcomes and accomplishments that we're touting for this year. So I'll turn it over to Shelly, and then we'll be available to answer some questions at the end.
Thank you, Kristi. Again, I am delighted to be able to be here over the past couple of days and really talk to you, to everyone, meet everyone, find out what you all are doing on your individual campuses and getting involved in some of the research area. And most importantly, learning more about NIDRR. We want to see your individual institution names in our portfolio, and so we're really happy to be here today and hope that this is one step closer to making that happen and seeing you all more closely involved in our portfolio. I'm going to take just a few moments just to talk a little bit more about our Section 21 program and tell you a little bit more about what we are and have been doing there. Thanks to Bobby yesterday, she really gave us a really great insight to the history behind Section 21, what was the impetus with that coming about. So we learned about that yesterday, and as a result of Section 21, NIDRR reserves 1% of its annual funding to minority outreach efforts. So specifically to funding grants, contracts, cooperative agreements that really address the needs and issues of minorities, individuals with disabilities from minority populations, minority researchers, and addressing the needs and issues of those populations. So our Section 21 program has three primary goals. One being to really increase minority participation and representation throughout the NIDRR portfolio, increasing the range of capacity building opportunities. Kristi showed you some of those funding mechanisms that we have, and those are parts of our capacity building initiatives. And then, of course, Section 21 is another example of that. And then also we are really intent on doing an even better job of getting out there and sharing more information about NIDRR, what it is that we do, the kind of research that we fund, and really trying to do a better job of having more minority entity participation in our portfolio. So over the past few years, we have really been thinking about some different strategies and looking at ways that we can continue to work towards those three primary goals. We sort of came up with some specific initiatives that we really are serious about and putting money behind so that we can be further along in reaching our goals. So we really want to expand the range of impact on minority institutions. Again, we want to see that represented across our research portfolio. We want to look at how we can do a better job of improving institutional research infrastructure at minority serving institutions. Hence, We really wanted to fund something that would get deeper, closer to those particular issues. And again, that discussion that we had yesterday and today is very enlightening, and we will continue to sort of use that kind of feedback as we look at future funding opportunities. But I think Langston has some great feedback and information to continue to use as they unfold their grant activities. And again, developing individual capacity of minority researchers. So not only looking at minority institutions, but going even a step further and looking at the individual researchers at those institutions. So what we had looked at doing is really trying to infuse some opportunities in our grant making process, so that minority serving institutions have a chance to touch, feel, be in all aspects of our research portfolio. So not just in one segment, but looking at all of those 10 or so funding mechanisms that Kristi showed you, and giving you a number of opportunities to be involved in the NIDRR research portfolio. We wanted to look at how we can do a better job at establishing MSI research fellowship opportunities at postdoc level, and providing MSI research consortium networks to facilitate the leveraging that Kristi mentioned of resources and innovation. Other things that we are looking at is increasing our outreach, being able to talk, hear your feedback, and get to know you a little bit more, find out what your needs, your issues, concerns, and desires are, and another reason why we are here today. And really thinking about how we can better construct a true pipeline for entities and researchers to be involved in our training and research opportunities. So the way we have envisioned this happening is really starting from ground zero, looking at our outreach, the opportunities that we are taking to be more visible and be out in the communities. And stemming from that outreach, looking at ways to structure opportunities so that you see ways to get involved in our research portfolio. As I mentioned in the previous slide, we wanted to establish an opportunity for a NIDRR MSI research fellowship opportunity. So in our earlier in 2013, earlier in our fiscal year, we had competed a grant opportunity for our RRT, which is our Advanced Rehabilitation Research Training Fellowship Program. So we competed that particular competition so that a minority serving institution has a chance to develop postdoc training opportunities at their individual institution, and I'll talk more about that particular award. We also initiated just this last fiscal year our MSI Field Initiated Program. As Kristi had mentioned, our Field Initiated Program really is a chance for just that, for the field to put forth research ideas and proposals to support those particular ideas. So that has been a very popular way that we are going with a lot of our funding mechanisms. We're looking at more of a field-initiated approach. And so with that particular mechanism, we were able to specifically have one completed in the Section 21 program. Question back here?
Is there any way possible with the Field Initiated 21 program that you have, it comes very sporadic, and so in other words, it comes out once every whenever whenever it's not something that's consistent, like your field initiated.
Mhm.
Is there any way we could get some additional points if we decide to go for your field initiated one within that particular competition?
Well, that is one particular way that funding opportunities can be, structured. I don't know that that would necessarily be an option under the upcoming FIP competition, but the whole point is to provide some opportunities to get experience in the FIP